Hi, I'm Mark Gatter, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how to turn animations into slightly disturbing videos. So this is a kind of sort of Harry Potter picture. So you know in Harry Potter you have a photograph of the family and someone's looking at it and going down memory lane, and then suddenly someone in the photograph waves. So this is kind of how you can do that sort of thing. Now this is a video. And I've opened it up into Photoshop. You can do that. I just shot this with a digital camera. It's down near Canary Wharf, and this is the Docklands Light Railway track going across the back here. And if I start playing the video, which you do by pressing enter, you'll see it's just a little video. I've turned the sound off, so we're not going to be bothered by that. And somewhere along the video, there'll be a train going across in the background. There it goes. So I decided what I would have is a still image with a train going through more or less continually. Now if we get to the point where I decide that's what I want for a still image, then, so I'm going to wait for this guy to come around the corner, and this guy, when they get to about there, I'm going to say, okay, well, let's stop the video now, and then Command or Control A, which is select all, copy, Command C or Control C, followed by paste, Control V or Command V. And there is a static image. Now it's in the video group, which is why it's showing on the same layer. But if I grab it over here in the layers window and pull it up to the top, so now it's out of the video group, and then grab it and pull it to the beginning and drag the end and extend it to the same duration as the video. Now I've got a static image over the top of the video. Now obviously I could carry on playing it and you're not going to see any change, because what we're looking at now is a static image. If I turn the video off behind it, I can zoom in on that area and then get the eraser tool and erase through to show the transparent background behind this layer, because right now the video is not there. But of course if I turn the video on and played it, then in that area where there's a hole you can see through to the video behind it. And that's the idea, that's all there is to it. Now I've got a slightly finessed one that I've done already, and that's this one here. So because there was a lot of dead space either side of the video of the train going through, I cut just by putting the playhead at a certain point and clicking with the scissors icon and binning that cut off portion. And I've cut it down to more or less just the video of the train going through. But then I cut that in half. So this was originally the beginning. This is the halfway point, which continues here to the end. Now I managed to get it so that there's very little noticeable transition between the end of one and the beginning of the other. But this perfectly joins on to this. Now for some reason I've got two images here. I don't need this one, layer 2, so I'm going to drag it into the trash and bin it. Don't need that at all. So here's my two video layers and my single image above it. And if I hit enter to play the movie, you'll see that we've got a more or less continuous Docklands Light Railway train going along in the background. And this timeline is set to loop, so it's just going to play and then carry on and keep on going. It's the longest train that Docklands Light Railway ever put into public service. Okay, so then I thought, well, let's zoom in a bit on this area and change it again. So this time I decided to go with a vertical format. Let's zoom in a bit. So it's the same kind of thing as before. We've got a static image. These guys got to the corner and carried on walking. We've got the video layer behind it, but part of the static image is I cloned this tree across the band that I erased, so the trains go along behind it. And if I play that, so there's the train going behind the tree. and out the other side. This rendering is going quite slowly because it's figuring everything out. Once it's done it once, it'll be much faster subsequently. Now when it gets to the end, there is a slight jolt with a transition. You see this little bit of tree changes, the building in the background seems to slightly change. The wind was blowing quite a lot that day. You really want to do this on a really still day, otherwise you get that. Did you see that little movement, the bit of the tree there? Now I could probably do a bit more painting and fix that, but so far I didn't. But anyway, this is where you can use an actual photo with an actual video and kind of combine the two, so you've got a still image, but it's got video within it. The other kind that you can do is where you've got static images to begin with, and you're turning them into a movie of some kind. Now here I took a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge, and I also took a picture of a street in Amsterdam, which is quite small, and I decided that I would put them together so that the street, it's as if you're walking down the street. The buildings move off, the right-hand side moves off to the right, the left-hand side moves off to the left. The bridge looms further, closer and closer in the background, gets bigger and bigger. But one problem with this is if I zoom in on this picture, that bridge is not very high res, well, nor is the picture of the street for that matter. So I fixed it, and what I used was a program called Perfect Resize. And it's worth getting. You can get it, Google for Perfect Resize online, you'll go to On One Software. It's only like $90 for the full movie, for the full program, and it'll probably pay for itself the first time you use it. And to show you how good it is, this is an image that I resized using Perfect Resize. Now, you can see all the pixelation here, but if I zoom in on the same area, you can't see the pixelation, can you? Here's an example showing a little bit of each side by side, just to show you how good they are. This is Photoshop's attempt at resizing this image. You can see that corner's gone all soft, that one as well. Well, this is Perfect Resize version of the same image, and it's intelligent enough to see, okay, there should be a sharp corner there, and that's what it gives you. Well worth it. Also, recommendation, if you have to use an archive image from an online image archive, and you've got to pay for it, buy a small one and then enlarge it using Perfect Resize. I guess I didn't tell you that, did I? But I probably just did. Anyway, this is the image that I'm going to use for the bridge, and then I've also got another picture where I've already separated everything out. So I'm going to go to that one. I think that's the one where I've actually put everything in place. Yeah. There's no bridge in the background yet, though. But you can see I've got the right-hand side of the street on one layer, the left-hand side on another. Now I'm going to grab the bridge image and get the Move tool, hold down the Shift key and drag it in and let it go, and then put it down behind these others. So there it is in the background. Now if I create a timeline out of these, by clicking on Create Video Timeline, it's going to give me a 5-second timeline. Can I extend that? Let's see. Yep. And if I can extend one of them, I can probably extend the others. So I could tell it to give me, oh, I don't know, let's take it up to there. Nearly 8 seconds. Now I'll take these up to there as well. And this is a transparent background. Well, I don't even need that, so I'm going to bin it. So now I've got an image where we start with the street on the left, the street on the right, and the bridge in the background. And at the moment, nothing would happen. I'm going to close this. So let's start with the street on the left. I'm going to open this and click on the position alarm clock there, and that puts in a keyframe at the beginning. And now I'm going to take the playhead right to the end. Let's make this spread a little bit narrower so I can see the whole thing in the window. Take the playhead right to the end. click on this diamond and it puts another keyframe at the end. Now at that point I want the street to change its appearance. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. But I want the street to kind of squish so it looks as if you're walking down it. If I want to do that, then I've got to click on that little diamond first, then click here and choose Zoom, and then Command T on the image. And that puts in this red line. And if I hold down this handle and pull to the side, and I'm going to pull this one out to the side a little bit as well, then it'll look more as if I'm going down the street. Now press enter to assign that. So this end, let's put the playhead back down at this end again. There's the movement of my street. So that's me walking down the road. I'm going to do the same thing, go back to frame 1 on this layer, twirl it open, click on position, there's my keyframe, go all the way to the end, click on the diamond again, there's another keyframe, click on it, click on that, choose zoom, click on the image and Command T, and there's my free transform frame, and there's my red bar, and I can click and drag on that, and I'm also going to drag the right hand side out a little bit to, let's do it to there, good, and then press enter. So now I've got a transition for both sides of the street. Now I'm going to do another little one in the background for the bridge. So twirl it open, click on position, there's a keyframe at the beginning, drag the playhead all the way to the end, click on the diamond, there's another keyframe, click on it, choose zoom, click on the bar at the top of the image, Command T, there's my red line there, and I think what I'm going to do is hold down Shift and Alt, so I'm redrawing from the center, so the bridge gradually looms into view like that. Then put the press enter, then put the playhead right back to the beginning again, and play the movie. Now when you play a movie like this for the first time, it is seriously slow, because it's calculating what all's happening. I just zoomed in a bit with Command plus. So it's going to take a little while to do this. Once it's done it, it's going to be a whole lot quicker. So I decided right at the end that even though this was nice and it worked pretty well, I wanted to make it a little more interesting. So I decided to have the Loch Ness Monster rising from the deep in front of the bridge. Of course, well known in the Hudson River. But Nessie was created as a drawn object. Now with a drawn object, normally I would look at doing perhaps a frame-by-frame animation in order to create an animated GIF like that. In this case, I wanted to then bring that in to this animation, which is clearly video. Now I'm going to stop this, drag it back to the beginning, and show you how it works. Here's the Nessie original. There she is. Transparent background, one layer, and there's a hard sort of drawn area here down the bottom, which I wanted to fade out into nothing. Now if I had a layer mask, which is white, which means what I see is what I see. If I paint black fading to white with a gradient tool on the mask, then Nessie is going to fade out, hold down the Shift key, like that. So then I created a whole bunch. I unlinked Nessie, because then if I get the Move tool and drag down, Nessie kind of disappears down behind that mask. If Nessie and the mask were linked like that, then they'd both move around together and that wouldn't work. But if I unlink them, the mask stays put and I can pull Nessie around. So I'm going to close this one, not bother to save it, and open up one that I've already done. So it's like the Blue Peter School of Photoshop. And there she is. And here we've got an animated GIF because I've made oodles of layers. If I scroll down, you see the image of Nessie here, this little thumbnail, gradually rising up, and then at the top I messed around with the expression. And if I play that movie, we'll go back to frame 1, and I'll play the movie, and here she comes. So this is frame-based animation right now. And she looks around and then grins evilly a little bit more, or should do. Doesn't seem to work. Oh, there's the smile, like that. So then the sort of evil grin happens at the end. So with this one, what I have to do is convert this into a video. And if I click on that, Nessie is converted into a video, and she plays just like she did with frames. Now if I want to bring the video of Nessie into this image here, so I'm going to have Nessie rising out of the Hudson River, it's got to be a video timeline, otherwise I can't do it. And the way that I'll do it is as follows. Select the image that I want to import it to and go File, Place. And I can choose Place Linked or Place Embedded. I'm going to choose Place Linked. And there she is, and Place. And Nessie comes in as a smart object because she's linked. And this diagonal indicates the presence of a smart object, and the resolution won't be determined, it won't become the same resolution as the background image until I've finished any manipulation, such as resizing or replacing. So I'm going to put Nessie just about there, and then press Enter. Now here, in the timeline for this image, she's come in as a slightly shorter movie, and that's fine. I'm just going to put her here to the end. I'll put the playhead right at the end, if I can, and see how it's going to look. She needs to come back just a tiny bit. So that's how she'll look at the end. So this should be how the movie plays. Now it's going to take quite a while to play. There she comes, and looking to one way, then looking to the other way, and then the little evil sort of silly grin at the end. But this would take a very long time to render, so I'm going to change the size. So I go to Image, Image Size. So I'm going to change this to 650, and then zoom in a bit, and let's see if that renders any quicker. It's a little faster. It's still going to take a while. And then any second now, Nessie is going to start appearing. Here she comes. Guess there's nothing to prevent Nessie from being male, just the E, the Nessie. Makes it sound maybe possibly a female name ending, but given the sort of malevolence and stupid expression, I guess there's absolutely nothing preventing Nessie from being a male. And then once it's run through the video once, the second time is more sort of real time. It's still a little slow. As you can see from the timeline here, 4 to 5 seconds, well, this took longer than 1 second to get there. But you get the idea. Now if I wanted to render this as a GIF, I would go File, Export, Save for Web, Legacy. That means they're going to discontinue it soon, and switch to GIF. And it's going to take a second to process the image. So this is only rendering it in 16 colors right now. I don't think that's quite enough. So I'm going to boost this to 128 colors. Now it does say this is going to be 36 megabytes. It does have a diffusion dither in it, which it probably needs given the gradient in that sky. But if I wanted to, I could now save it. And we'll call that finished. And click Save. When you're saving a GIF, You only need images. You don't need HTML and images. And that's it. Well, it will be in a second. Then I could go to Finder, right-click, and choose Open with Chrome. And that's it.